Hello friends, Michelle here from Wildflower Life. I am excited to talk to you guys today about the vitamin K shot for newborns. I know there's a lot of confusion about this. A lot of midwives are recommending this. It is standard practice in a hospital for sure. So let's just cover this topic. So for those of you who don't know what the vitamin K shot is, it is a shot given to newborns, typically right after birth. And what you're generally told about it is it's just a vitamin, don't worry, it's just because your baby was born deficient in vitamin K and we need to give them this vitamin to make sure that they don't bleed to death. Let's talk about that. There's a few problems there. First of all, the vitamin K shot is not just a vitamin. And let's look at why it's used and what type of it is used and what the other ingredients are in it. What else maybe we should be doing instead. So I've got some notes here that I'm going to cover, and let's get into it. So, like I said, the biggest thing that they're saying is it's just a vitamin and it's to prevent bleeding in infants. But if you actually look at the statistics of how common it is for an infant to bleed to death because of a vitamin K deficiency, it's 0.25% to 1.7% of a risk. But it's standard practice in the medical system, in midwifery care, in any medical birth situation to give this shot to every single infant. They don't take into account what type of birth you had, what other factors are in it, like in your situation. It's just standard practice across the board. Now, I know some will mention oral vitamin K for the baby, but I'll cover that as well. So what increases this risk of infants bleeding? Well, things like poor gut health. When the mom is not healthy and her gut health isn't great, I need to do a video on gut health, but that's a whole entirely different topic. If you have questions, feel free to comment for sure. So poor gut health, taking medications such as antibiotics during pregnancy, preterm delivery, forceps, vacuum extraction, delivery by cesarean, etc. Well, what kind of things are going on in a typical medical delivery? It's incredibly common for a mom to have been given antibiotics. Preterm delivery is more common than we would like to admit. And forceps, vacuum extraction, manual extraction, cesareans, the cesarean rate is just off the charts. So we're delivering babe in a traumatic way, which is increasing the risk for causing a bleeding issue. And then they're swooping in with their solution of, this is going to save your baby's life. Well, I'm pretty sure you just made the problem in the first place, so let's unwind that a little bit. They say that all babies are born deficient in vitamin K, but I have a different perspective. I believe that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. God does not make mistakes. It's not an accident that babies are deficient in vitamin K when they're born. They're actually not deficient, and there's actually a very specific purpose that babies are very low in vitamin K when they're born. Number one is because their blood needs to actually be thin so that it can go quickly through the body, through the brain, to repair any damage or traumas or injuries from birthing. Like, that whole process is quite a big thing for a baby's body to go through. So the blood is meant to be thin so that the blood can go quickly with stem cells to heal any areas that might need extra help. The other thing is the liver of the baby is not ready to process vitamin K, which is the organ that processes vitamin K. it's not ready to process vitamin K until about 7 days old. So if you have a whole bunch of vitamin K in the body, or normal levels of vitamin K in the body, when baby's first born, the liver can't even process it. So what is the baby's body supposed to do with that? It's not deficient. It's just created that way on purpose for very good reasons. So let's not break it. Okay, back to the shot. So let's talk about the shot itself. For one, it contains 20,000 times synthetic vitamin K that is needed for an infant that size. So an adult would not commonly take this high of a dose of vitamin K, but we're giving it to a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pound baby. It's quite a big difference in size. So we're flooding the baby's body with 20,000 times the amount of vitamin K that is appropriate for a child that small. And it's a synthetic vitamin. So you're kind of adding insult to injury with way too much in a baby's body where their liver isn't ready to process it, and it's synthetic. So the body was never designed to process synthetics in the first place. So we've just got like all the problems stacking up. That aside, if you look at what is also in the shot, because again, often they'll say, oh, it's just a vitamin, it's fine. Well, first of all, too much of a synthetic vitamin mixed with other ingredients. So you can sometimes, depending on where you are, ask for the preservative-free version of the shot. Let's talk about those ingredients though. So even in the preservative-free option, it contains 10 milligrams of polysorbate 80, so toxic, 10.4 milligrams of propylene glycol. I mean, I don't want that in my body. I definitely don't want that in my newborn's body. That's toxic. Yeah, no thanks. The other thing is it contains nanoparticle aluminum. Now, if you look at the packaging, it has a teeny tiny amount of aluminum in it. But here's the deal. You're injecting, sorry, this is sliding. You're injecting a newborn with nanoparticle aluminum directly into their body. That's going to hit their bloodstream, go to their brain, go to their gut. You don't want that in your body. You don't want that in your baby's body. And a lot of people are like, oh, you would definitely get more aluminum than that in, you know, the food you eat and the fish you eat and whatever. That is actually a completely different story, because what you're consuming through your mouth is being filtered out through your gut. Now, granted, we usually intake more than our gut can actually sufficiently detox from, which is why I totally recommend extra detox for everybody. But we're talking about non-ingested aluminum, and the aluminum that you ingest isn't usually nanoparticle. So you've got nanoparticle, which means really tiny. Basically, it gets everywhere, and it's not good. So you've got nanoparticle aluminum. Even if it is a tiny amount, I don't want any amount injected into my newborn. I don't want any amount injected into my body, let alone a tiny body. So no thank you. Let's see, what else do we need to talk about? Yeah, so with the 20,000 times the amount of synthetic vitamin K injected into the baby's body, with the extras that are along with it, it's not just a vitamin, it's not even a real vitamin, it's synthetic. The vitamin K kind of just sits there and slowly releases into the baby's body as the baby's body really just struggles to get rid of it, honestly. A lot of babies that receive the vitamin K shot will develop jaundice. That is super common. They will get gut issues, which can be honestly setting them up for a lifetime of struggles. I'm not saying that you can't repair from these things, but like, why would you knowingly give a baby like within hours of being born, a shot that you know is going to cause gut issues that you then have to go and try to fix. Like, let's just not create a problem, you know? Eczema is really common, colic, so tummy upset issues. Y'all, why? That's my question. Why? That's just not. We're sliding again here. Okay, so what do you think that we should do given all of this information? Personally, I do not recommend, and I try to educate everyone I can and any of my clients on the vitamin K shot to begin with. And then another question that comes up quite often is, well, what about the oral vitamin K treatment route? Let's get into that. So oral vitamin K doesn't have the preservatives and shouldn't. You should be able to find a brand that doesn't have the preservatives and the nanoparticle aluminum, and it's not getting directly injected into their bloodstream and that kind of thing. But you're still flooding the baby's body with way too much vitamin K in their system. The liver isn't ready to process it still until they're about a week old. So we still haven't fixed that problem, which isn't a problem. It's meant that way. We're still trying to do what the medical system is doing with the shot, just with like a more natural way, but it's really just not natural because a baby isn't meant to be supplemented with something at birth. That's what your breast milk is for. Okay. So if the mom is wanting to get her vitamin K levels up and set her body up for being the healthiest it can be to pass down the best health to baby, that, my friends, is where we should be focused. That's the ticket. And that is the way God designed it. Our bodies are to be feeding and nourishing everything that baby needs in the uterus, and then when they come out, exclusively through breast milk till 6-9+ months. So let's not mess with that on day one by giving them things that don't belong in their body. The biggest thing for mom is make sure your gut health is really great. If you have symptoms of gut health issues, just Google, if you're not sure, just Google gut health issue or gut health symptoms or something like that. It'll come up with a bunch of stuff and you'll be like, okay. It's connected to everything. Your gut is like the storehouse for your whole body's health. Like your gut health is responsible for your brain's health. Another video. But make sure your gut health is on point. Make sure you're intaking good, nutritious foods that are full of natural vitamin K. You can Google foods that are naturally high in vitamin K. You're looking for vitamin K1, so that's typically like leafy greens and that kind of thing. And then if you're still wanting to increase your vitamin K, which I'm not necessarily saying is a bad thing, because I know that our soil is so depleted, our toxin level in our bodies is higher than it should be just because we're bombarded constantly with toxins from environment, food, all the things. So our body isn't typically getting to absorb enough nutrients in general. So if you're wanting to just make sure that your vitamin K levels are bumped up a little extra, then mom can take vitamin K1 by supplement, and then that will be passed down to baby through breast milk naturally when the baby's liver is ready to process it. So the mom's breast milk actually will not contain vitamin K until the baby's liver is ready to process it. So day 1 through about 7, the breast milk won't even contain vitamin K, because breast milk was designed to be the ultimate food source for baby. Like, your breast milk knows, sounds kind of weird, but your breast milk knows not to have vitamin K in it until baby's ready for it, which is amazing and beautiful, and that is exactly how it should be. We should not mess with that process. And then the other thing is, birth in a place with the support system with the education that you're not having a traumatic forceps, cesarean, antibiotic situation birth, right? You get to choose where you birth, and like, do you want a peaceful home birth that is just gonna flow with how your body was designed to birth and thus give your baby a peaceful birth, a non-traumatic birth? Or are you putting yourself in a medical birth situation where you're very likely to end up with one of those following options, which is not desirable for you or for baby? So I don't know, in my mind, it's like, no brainer. But hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, of course, comment or email or message me, whatever works for you. And I hope to see you guys again soon.